For a fragrance to get a 10 out of 10 score, the blend must be top notch. The ingredients must smell luxurious. Performance needs to be at least 8 hours of longevity. Wearability needs to be at least 3 out of the 4 seasons. And then the price tag has to feel like it's worth it, or you're getting better value than the price tag. This video is going to be me highlighting each of the 10 out of 10 releases in 10 different designer brands. Some brands have one 10 out of 10 release, some have several 10 out of 10 releases, and then some don't have any. So if you don't see your favorite brand in this video, it is because they are a lame duck and weren't able to produce a single 10 out of 10 release. Okay, let's begin. Make sure you check out our brand Atrium Fragrance, which is on a mission to promote creativity in the industry. By clicking the link in the description below, you gain access to a free sample as a first-time buyer, as well as exclusive written and video fragrance content by joining our newsletter. Enjoy. In the brand of Chanel, there are 2 releases. First of all is going to be Chanel's Antaeus. Not a fragrance that everyone will love, not everyone will give this a 10 out of 10, but I think objectively it is a 10 out of 10. The blend is fantastic. It's really cool, interesting, dark barbershop DNA with an animalic touch to it, but it's still an easy way to get into animalic fragrances. It's an 80s powerhouse fragrance that has this masculine, rugged intensity that is synonymous with that era. You don't really get this style as much nowadays, but I think just the blend is fantastic. It has a really great, elegant sweetness, a touch of sweetness from the myrrh in there, which is a really classy note. Really beautiful Chanel release that not a lot of people pay attention to, and I think it really does deserve more love. So 10 hours longevity, immediate projection. Make sure you're not sleeping on Antaeus. And Allure Sport Eau Extreme. This is still a unique fragrance. That's not to my taste personally, but objectively I still think this deserves a 10 out of 10. The blend is really nice, really smooth and creamy, which for me, I wasn't actually a fan of, but I still think it deserves its props for how well blended this is. The ingredients smell great. This is a very fresh, clean, musky, mandarin mint tonka fragrance, lotion-like, really smooth and elegant, sporty fresh, but at the same time, it has that luxuriousness to it that you expect from Chanel. So I don't like this blend personally, but a lot of people say they get a lot of compliments with it. It's got great versatility, wear this all year round, great performance for at least 8 hours. So I do think it's absolutely worth this price tag. I can't really fault it. I don't wear this often, but I still think everyone at least needs to experience Allure Eau Extreme. Bleu De Chanel, I always feel that I go between 9 and a 10 for that fragrance. I kind of feel like maybe it's a 9.5. Maybe if it was like 2010, Bleu De Chanel would have got an easy 10 out of 10 rating, but nowadays I'm going 9.5. But yeah, of course, Bleu De Chanel is excellent also. 32% of people who watch School of Scent are subscribed to us. If you guys want to see our channel grow, to really help us out, click subscribe. Let's get that number to 40%. Thank you. For Tom Ford, in their signature line, so we're not doing private line for any of the brands here, I actually struggle to find a single 10 out of 10 release, if I'm being honest with you. Often because their fragrances aren't that easy to wear. They're very much designed for specific occasions, or sometimes their blends are a bit too simplistic. But they're all usually quite good. It's not like that they're bad. It's like a lot of them are either 8s or 9s, not necessarily a 10. But this is a release that I almost forgot to include in this video, and I think most people almost forget this exists. That is Tom Ford's Noir Anthracite. This is a discontinued fragrance that I'm only mentioning because you can still get it potentially as some last remaining bottles. So it's kind of like on the tail end of discontinuation. So try to get it if you can. If you like the scent profile, let me describe it to you. So again, it's a 10 out of 10 that I don't think everyone will like. But objectively, I do think this smells like a private blend fragrance. I feel like this easily could have been their private blend. Really high quality, intense, great quality ingredients with a really intense, complex blend that's very woody, spicy, mature, rugged. This feels like, Don Corleone would wear something like this, like a mafia boss gangster would wear something like this. It has this intense masculinity, again, that you would get from 80s powerhouses, but they've made this modern. And I think that's what Tom Ford was paying homage to, basically, with this fragrance. The rugged masculinity of old school fragrances is brought into this bottle here with Tom Ford's Noir Anthracite. It's not an easy fragrance. It is mature, very, very masculine, very intense and rugged, but I think this is a masterpiece. It's so good. I think it's definitely private blend quality. In Hermes, I'm only choosing one. It's going to be Terre d'Hermes. I am currently trying out Bel Ami Vetiver, which I think I need a bit more time with before I can include in videos, but Terre d'Hermes is a masterpiece. Complex, challenging, dirty, earthy orange with a clean, woody base. It's a really interesting, rugged, masculine, professional DNA that you find that maybe you don't like it initially, but then it grows on you and it has complexity. It's a masterpiece. There's no fragrance that comes close to it really. And of course, it's just really versatile. I think all seasons apart from winter would be ideal for the Eau de Toilette, and then the Parfum, you can wear it out in winter if you want to. I know the Terre Eau de Toilette has been reformulated, it's nowhere near as long lasting, so okay, if Eau de Toilette doesn't get a 10 out of 10 anymore, I'll give it to the Parfum because I think that still lasts a long time. So basically choose one of the Terre Eau, they're fantastic. So I only have one release from Carolina Herrera here in my hand. Carolina Herrera is a bit of a strange brand because depending on what era of fragrances you get from them, you're going to get a very different style of fragrances depending on the timeline that they were released in. I'm going to stick with the 212 original fragrances. I'm going for the original itself. 212 Men NYC. This is a fantastic cheapie. This is such a fantastic 10 out of 10 fragrance when you can get it on discount. Really look out for it when it gets cheaper. I got it for like £30, something like that. It's easily a very high quality fragrance for that price tag. It has that sort of shower gel musky effect with a hint of greenness from the grassy notes, which scares some people, but don't be scared because it's a very safe fragrance. I think it's youthful. It works for older gentlemen as well. It has a cool magnetic lid. I think it was one of the first releases that ever had a magnetic lid actually. And just very easy grab and go dumb reach fragrance. It works most of the year round, maybe not in the winter time, and lasts a long time as well, around 10 hours. So getting on a discount, it's an easy 10 out of 10 to me. Next up in YSL, I can only pick one again, and it's not the fragrance you're expecting. Bleu Electrique was close to making it in this list, but I get 6 to 8 hours longevity, so it doesn't really match the criteria quite just yet. But maybe if you over apply on your clothes, you can get over 8 hours, but some people get 20 minutes with it for some reason. So I was like, okay, maybe Bleu Electrique would be like 9, 9.5. With this fragrance, you won't agree with me, everyone, but I give this a 10. You may have guessed it, it's Kouros. Okay, so similar to Antaeus. Maybe there's a theme here, guys. I like these rugged, masculine, intense DNAs. Clean, daytime lavender barbershop fragrance with those 80s musks in here. And now you're combining this civet, which is a dirty animalic amber note in perfumery. But the civet is quite high here, so it can be challenging. So if you want like a fragrance that kind of repels people and offends them, Kouros will do it for you, but it gives you so much character. It's such a cool fragrance anyway, it doesn't really matter, and has fantastic performance. I think this is a masterpiece personally. What do you guys think? Do you agree or disagree about Kouros here? And this next brand actually has 3 releases, and again, I don't think these may have been the ones you were expecting. It's a brand of Dior. I'm going for Dior Homme Original first. So Dior Homme Originals is a really unslept on, underrated fragrance. Like, I think too many people now focus on Dior Homme 2020, which is a decent fragrance, but this easily beats it. This has a very powdery, clean iris. I think this was one of the first fragrances ever to really include it in men's perfumery that is then made substantial and made more robust with this masculine woodiness in the backbone. So it's a masculine, woody iris fragrance that lasts a really long time, 12 hours. So if you liked the clean, airy soapiness of Prada L'Homme, this is not as clean or as airy, but it's more substantial, more well-rounded. I would say this is more your versatile signatures as opposed to being just your professional scent like Prada L'Homme. So yeah, I think this is better than Dior Homme 2020, it's better than Prada L'Homme. And I think a lot of people have forgotten about this. If new formulations of this bottle is still lasting just as long as this is an easy 10 out of 10. Dior Eau Sauvage Parfum. This is a mature man's sweet amber barbershop scent that is still clean and professional, but extremely strong. Kind of think of those citrus barbershop scents from Acqua di Parma's Cologne line made beast mode. It's quite a simple fragrance, but it smells very well blended and also very high quality ingredients. It's really a standout designer scent for sure. 12 to 14 hours longevity with a medium to loud projection. It's kind of strange because it's like, okay, you can wear this in the office, but not too many sprays, definitely not. So I think it's just a great professional man's mature signature you can wear pretty much all year round. A lot of people get scared because they see Eau Sauvage and they think it's the 60s old school fragrance, but no, the Parfum was made in 2017, so you're getting a modern scent. And finally, of course, I have to include Fahrenheit Eau de Toilette. So maybe I'm just obsessed with 80s powerhouse, rugged, masculine perfumes, but Fahrenheit is a classic and it's a legendary fragrance. Pretty much every single men's fragrance nowadays has ISOE Super as a large proportion of its formula. And this was the fragrance that pioneered that approach, because a lot of people thought, oh, you can't, people were very careful when ISOE Super first came out, perfumers, they were like, oh, we don't want to include too much, because most perfume notes, you don't want to overdo it, but ISOE Super ended up being a note that you could easily just over apply, go very liberal with it, and this is the first fragrance that discovered that. So Fahrenheit, should be thanked for that, for really setting the tone for the modern industry. It has a lot of character. It obviously has that classic petroleum smell from the violet leaf. It has that leather in here as well, so it's masculine, green, fiery leather that It just makes you smell like a boss. You can smell like a boss professionally or when wearing a leather jacket. It's weird. It kind of works across different personality groups. So yeah, it's a Hall of Fame fragrance. It has to get a 10 out of 10 in my opinion. I get 10 hours with it with medium projection. The brand of Moschino, they are a brand that don't really have that many fragrances. I don't think they have that many men's fragrances. I think I've tried this fragrance in my hand, which you can probably guess what it is. I've tried their Windex bottle one. I think it's Fresh, Moschino Fresh, something like that. I think it's actually meant for women, that fragrance. And then I've tried the original Moschino Homme, which was quite a traditional aromatic barbershop scent. But their recent release, I think, is like niche quality for a designer price tag. This is Toy Boy. So I think you can get it for like £26 on Latina right now for 30 ml. Grab it, guys. It's, as long as you like rose. If you don't like rose, you're not gonna like this fragrance. It's definitely a prominent rose note that is interesting to have in men's perfumery with pear, some pink pepper in here, some interesting musks, very long lasting, kind of soapy, clean and unique, just fruity, floral, a very playful scent. It's kind of like an F-boy fragrance for the artistic man. If you're a creative artistic F-boy, I feel like Toy Boy does it for you. It's not like a hugely masculine fragrance. It's a unisex, leaning slightly masculine scent, but fantastic longevity, 12 hours with a medium to loud projection. Really great for the price. Jean-Paul Gaultier Le Mal de Parfum. I don't think any other release from the brand can come close to a 10 out of 10, but apart from this, because Le Mal de Parfum is extremely well blended. It's very balanced. You can wear most of the year round. Fantastic performance. An interesting idea and a new take on the original Le Mal DNA. So it's mature, romantic, and unique and distinct actually. So it's a really well-made fragrance with a lot of things going on in it. So I don't think you'll ever get bored of this. I've talked about this fragrance so many times. It's a 10 out of 10. Prada, this is a brand that's more of a solid brand. It's very reliable, but I don't really think they go for that many masterpieces in their releases from what I've experienced with them. What do you guys think? But for me, of course, it has to be one fragrance, which may or may not be discontinued. I'm kind of confused. I don't really know anymore, guys. So look it up in your region. It might be there. It is Prada L'Homme Intense. You know, I was hating on the original Prada L'Homme before and earlier in this video. I much prefer the Intense. This is my favorite evening iris heavy fragrance, bar none. Takes it for me, takes the cake. It is dark, extremely powdery, leather, tonka bean. It's got some beautiful sweetness in here, but at the same time, it just smells like elegance. It's really the Prada elegance made sweet and with a lot of character. So I really think, you know, most of Prada's stuff, I feel like they're kind of copying other fragrances, but in their own way. But Prada L'Homme Intense is really their own baby. There's nothing else in the market that smells quite like it. I think you can get it for like £90 in the UK right now. Easily worth the price. It's one of those fragrances that's designer, but again, could be niche quality. 10 hours longevity and medium projection. And finally, Giorgio Armani. Now, this is a brand that has, again, solid fragrances, very solid. Not quite 10 out of 10 that often. I think one that just about gets it for me is Armani Co's Parfum. It is that classic tonka bean, fresh citrusy, aromatic DNA of Armani Co. A little bit dark, but it's still balanced. Day and night, wear it as your signature, but it's made more relevant, more modern, long lasting, around 10 hours with a soft to medium projection. It has that elegant touch of powderiness from iris. So I think it deserves a 10 out of 10, but maybe in another video this could come down to a 9, who knows. It's kind of like, okay, it's a fantastic blend, but it's kind of already well known. It really depends how much you give weighting to how well you know a DNA. Are you bored of it or not? But I think Armani Co Parfum just about deserves a 10 still. That concludes this video, guys. I do think my choices are controversial. What are your thoughts on the fragrances I have put forward to you today? Again, if you don't see your favorite brands here, that is because I probably just couldn't think of a 10 out of 10 fragrance for them. But you might disagree. Tell me, guys, do you think there are fragrances and brands not mentioned here that deserve a 10 out of 10? Do you think a brand should have been in this video? Let us know, guys. Make sure to check out our other videos on 10 out of 10 fragrances. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.